Hello everyone, this is Northview Point of View, where we give people a place to listen, learn, and lean in. We are your hosts, Alan,
Avi, and Ethan.
Today's subject will be the recent discussions in Congress surrounding the ban on TikTok. We will be covering the why, how, and what this means for you and your favorite social media platform. So let's get right into it. First up, what is TikTok? TikTok is a social media platform that allows users to create, share, and discover short videos ranging from a minute to 2 minutes. The app has gained immense popularity across the globe due to its engaging content and algorithm that personalizes user feeds.
This kind of leads us to our first question. Why is it getting banned? TikTok has faced scrutiny and potential bans in various countries primarily due to concerns over data privacy, the potential for misuse of user information, and fears of foreign interference, given that its parent company ByteDance is based in China.
Now, are these accusations true? The accuracy of the accusations against TikTok involving data privacy concerns or foreign interference has not been definitely proven in the public domain. Investigation and debates still continue with differing opinions on the severity or the validity of these concerns.
So, what has TikTok itself said? TikTok has consistently defended itself against these accusations, asserting that it prioritizes user privacy and data security over all else. The company has made efforts to distance itself from operations in Chinese government and influence, such as storing U.S. user data on servers located in the United States or Singapore. And if you've been following the Congress accusations and the Congress sessions, you know that the TikTok CEO has actually spoken out many times relating to this issue.
So what do kids and Congress members think? Kids who are major users of the platform generally view TikTok as an essential social and entertainment tool, often showing disinterest in the political and security dialogue surrounding it. In contrast, some Congress members in the United States and other countries view the platform as a potential national security risk, advocating for strict regulation or outright bans.
So, what happens after the ban is put into place? And is there a new app that will take the place of TikTok? So, in countries where bans have been implemented, users often shift to other platforms such as Instagram, YouTube Shorts, or other emerging social media apps. So really, if you cut off the head of the Hydra, one more comes out of it. Some regions have also seen local apps rise in popularity as direct replacements to these big social media apps.
So, why is this significant, and what does this mean for you? The significance of a TikTok ban would be multifaceted, impacting cultural trends, digital marketing, and social media dynamics worldwide. It could set precedents for how countries handle security concerns related to foreign-owned apps.
So enough with all of the facts. Let's get into some personal discussion about this.
Okay, great. You want to start us off, Avi? What do you think about the TikTok ban? Is it warranted? Do you think it's going to be do you think it's going to have many consequences for the American people?
I honestly feel that throughout my time as a user on TikTok, I started using the app back in 2020 when the pandemic hit, kind of just as a way to pass the time. And while I've seen a lot of news articles talk about how it's been a national security concern, one of the aspects about TikTok that they failed to mention is that the company that's based in China and the company in the United States are actually two different organizations, and they have no real ties to each other than the name TikTok. And while they operate under the same looking platform, the US owned TikTok group is actually owned by Oracle, which is a US company, and the Chinese one is still owned by ByteDance. Mm-hmm. So that kind of separates them there and there. So there's no real interaction between the Chinese version of TikTok and our version of TikTok, if that makes sense.
And that's true, especially considering the TikTok CEO is Singaporean. And a lot of his arguments as to why the Chinese government or the CCP is not interfering in U.S. user data is because TikTok stores its data privacy and other matters related to this in Singaporean servers or U.S. servers, which is a major argument of his, and why I also don't believe there's a real concern over this, even though some of the congressmen have made valid arguments as to past instances where user data from the U.S. has been leaked to outside sources and whatnot.
Yeah, and I feel like just banning TikTok isn't really going to solve that big of an issue, because if they really wanted to, there's endless amounts of social media platforms that they could go to spread whatever message that Congress is fighting to prevent them from spreading. So really, it's not it's kind of fighting an uphill battle. You're not really gonna beat these social media companies.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right, and kind of going off of hypothetical. Like, realistically, what if TikTok were to get banned? I think that we would lose a significant amount of platform viewership on quick viewing social media sites, because I know Instagram have Reels and YouTube have Shorts, but those get nowhere near the amount of viewership that TikTok receives, and the amount of content creators that use TikTok, especially now that they have their own marketplace, is going to definitely see a decline in the US economy, because then again, all of the money and everything that's being handled from TikTok is going through Oracle, which is a US company, and that US company basically affects our US economy.
Yeah, for sure. And one last fact I'll say is regarding the TikTok ban is actually, so the House of Representatives passed the TikTok ban, but in Senate they're actually still debating it. So that's why it hasn't been passed yet, even though there's been multiple discussions about it. And that is really just the main focal point of whether it's getting banned or not. Most of the discussions and debates are happening in the Senate rather than the House of Representatives.
Right. So like how do we feel about this TikTok ban? Like, does it like hit personally for any of us, or is it just like it doesn't really matter because we got endless amounts of social media websites?
I mean, not to sound petty, or this might sound as a first world problem, but Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts kind of suck. Like, I just feel that TikTok has mastered their way of getting that style of information across, and they kind of pioneered it. And we have to remember that TikTok was Musical.ly, so we have to kind of keep that in the back of our mind as we discuss this, because it's been around for a long time, and I feel that the audience members, while it has increased because of TikTok changing in its way somewhat, it's still a pioneer, and that anything like Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts feels almost like an off-brand version. And I'm not even going to mention Snapchat because, like, seriously, like, what are you doing?
Wait, Snapchat has its own like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Seriously? I thought it was just like you snap someone and you get off.
No,
Didn't even know that.
I was like scrolling through Snap the other day, and I click on I try to click to like the photos section,
Yeah.
to like take a snap, and I accidentally like click this like side thing. It's like, what is this? It's like its own version of TikTok, and I was like, no way.
Goodwill TikTok.
There's no way that even
I
Snapchat.
had no clue. Like, I thought Snap was just like another form of like iMessage or something like that.
And I'm gonna be honest here, I actually don't have TikTok. I've used it very sparsely in my life, but I deleted it like a couple years ago because I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it that much. It was taking up a lot of my space in my phone. But do you guys think this could be a good thing for our younger generation? Because like, I know a big problem that we've been having, and like I might sound like a boomer here, but
Honestly, yeah.
It is kind of a problem that we all have with kids on their phones scrolling, and they're not really paying attention to what's happening in their life.
I feel like TikTok gets too much of the blame for that issue, in a sense that it's not just TikTok.
It's really a personal thing.
It's a personal thing, and it's also an industry-wide trend that we've seen. It's happened with, we have big production studios like Cocomelon specifically tailoring their content to kids under the age of 5. So that's kind of instilling that generation of people being essentially hooked onto all of these apps and videos and all of this media before they get over the age of 5. And that's something that's going to stick with them throughout their adolescent years, and as they age into adults. That's how they were brought up. I know I was not brought up in that, and that's not to sound like privileged or anything, but I touch grass.
It's good.
Honestly, like for me, it's just like I could sit down and scroll on my phone for the entire day and not figure out like anything, like not advance myself in any form. I have to like actively be like, okay, I've been on this for 2 hours. Let me try to go do something else before I scroll anymore.
Right, and like these kids are 3 to like 5 years old.
iPad kids.
Like I was for iPad kids basically. Like what I was doing when I was 3 to 5 was literally just like sitting around
playing with
Legos. I mean, yes, I watched the odd here or there episode of Caillou, but it wasn't anything like it was now, because back then we didn't have like Netflix or we didn't have personalized devices. Everything was just on this one TV in the living room. You'd watch your hour of Super Y, and then
Your sister
done.
would come take it from you, or your parents.
Yeah, it was done. Like there was no more showings of it for the day, and that was kind of like daily screen time limit because there was nothing else of interest that we would watch.
Definitely.
But I feel that now with like these iPad kids, for lack of a better term, there's almost no end to what they can watch. And this is no fault of TikTok or any of the other algorithms. They have an algorithm to specifically tailor videos to stuff you like so that you never stop watching it. And that's part of why TikTok is so notorious for addiction, is because their algorithm is somehow way better than Instagram's, way better than YouTube's at tailoring videos to people. And that could be because of its short nature and the fact that they are around a minute long for most videos.
Yeah, when I've been watching TikTok, right, I can scroll through maybe 10 or 20 of the short videos or Instagram Reels, and then I think to myself, what information have I really retained?
Yeah.
And it's not just like it's not just like, oh, I want to learn something. It's just like I have no idea what I'm watching. Like you watch it and you just forget about it and you go to the next video. And then sometimes I'm like, hold on, what is the very last like reel or TikTok I've seen? I have no idea what it is. Like my attention span is that short. And I guess it's a result of these tailored videos, short videos.
I think what would kind of help is keeping it age restricted. I know a lot of places, for lack of a better example, I know Roblox has, I don't know why, it's just the first thing that came up, but I know Roblox has their whole ID verification thing that you have to verify that you're over the age of 13 to like use voice chat and access certain like games. So I feel that if we, or not we, but if TikTok or these other social media sites limit that age restriction, or they have inbuilt
just like implement the age
implement age restrictions, and if you're like under a certain age, there's like a time limit to how much you can watch, because realistically, children between, and I mean we're still children too, like let's not forget that, but especially the children between the ages of 3 and like 7 are like their brain is still like grasping a hold of the world, and like they haven't even begun to develop their own like opinions stand alone. So what they see on TikTok and Instagram or all these social media sites is what they're going to think and how they're going to logically base their opinions off of.
Yeah, I feel like that's like reflected a lot in like society right now. Like in the car community, there's the stat sheet nerds who only see Toyota Supras on their feed. There's like, I think it's like the Sephora kids,
and we did an episode on that, so make sure to check that out if you haven't.
And
there's brain rot going on, all that stuff.
Yeah, and
I don't even want to say it.
Yeah, and there's all like that other stuff too, and then they just go around screaming like skibbity and like attacks and stuff like that, and it's just like no one else has a clue what they're saying, but like they came up with their own language that everyone else understands.
Yeah, it's
weird.
It's so weird.
I guess it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a result.
At the end of the day, I guess we're going to have to just wait and see how this plays out.
See what happens.
Yeah.
This concludes our episode of Point of View. Thank you so much for listening. For a transcript of this episode, head to the Point of View website on our tab, nhsmessenger.org, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at NHS Point of View for updates and new episodes. We're your hosts, Alan,
Avi,
and Ethan.
and this has been Point of View.